Welcome back to Jixter Callie's channel, to the technology playlist. What I'm going to be showing you, boys and girls, and gentlemen and ladies, and everybody else out there today, is how to use a utility called WinGet inside of the Microsoft Windows operating system to install applications onto your workstation way faster than you could do it by the traditional method. So let's dive right in. So here I am using the Windows 10 MSIX packaging environment that I set up in another video. I think my second or third video in this playlist, where I deploy a virtual machine with Windows 10 without downloading the ISO, downloading the image, or license, and so forth. I basically set up this VM directly in Hyper-V on this old laptop that I'm using for this demo. So this is a virtual machine running on a laptop for free with the Hyper-V manager, which is part of every Microsoft Windows operating system already. Windows 10 and 11 definitely have that feature set, and like I said, I have another video showing you how to enable that, how to create VMs. At this point, we already have the VM, so I'm going to press sign in. There is no password on this VM because it is a demo VirtualBox here. So let's sign in real quick. As you see, it's an enterprise evaluation, etc., etc., etc. Anyways, now having said that, if I want to install something, I want to show you how many steps that takes, and then we can compare that to the WinGet method that is the whole point of this video. If I want to install, so it looks like I have Chrome already installed. If I wanted to install, let's say, Mozilla Firefox, which is another great browser, what are the steps for me to get that installed on my laptop or virtual machine in this case, right? Normally you would open up the browser. In this case, we'll open up Chrome, and then we're gonna, since we've never launched it before, we're gonna press got it there. We're gonna type Firefox in the search. Okay, download the Firefox browser from Mozilla. English 64-bit. Now we're gonna need to press download now. Now we download the media. Here's the Firefox setup. Now we need to open it and then run the install. I stopped counting steps after 5, but there's a bunch of steps here. A lot more involved. What if we want to do it with this utility WinGet, like I had mentioned a couple of times already? We want to open up PowerShell. There are a number of ways you can open PowerShell. So the first way, easiest way for beginners, is just to click on Start and type PowerShell. And select one of these. For the purposes of this exercise, we're going to want to open it up in administrator mode, so we would right click and click Run as Administrator. Another way to open up PowerShell is to right click with your mouse on this Windows icon here, and then select Windows PowerShell Admin from the list. Another shortcut that I mostly use is on your keyboard, use the Windows key plus the X key together, and you let go. So it brings up this menu. Now you can press the A key on your keyboard, which is the underlined A here in admin, and that will open up Administrator PowerShell for us much faster than clicking and so forth. Anyway, the whole purpose of this video is to show you that there are much faster ways of doing things in Windows nowadays. Anyway, so what is WinGet? WinGet is a utility that allows you to download and install applications very, very quickly. But there's a better example of the description. If we simply type WinGet and press enter, WINGT, we get the Microsoft definition of the utility and this is what it is. The WinGet command line utility enables installing applications and other packages from the command line. Give us the following commands that are available so we can install, show, source, search, list, upgrade, uninstall. We can do everything application wise, and then we have some switches and options that we can enable as well. We're not going to get into the switches and stuff today, but I'm going to show you how we can install Mozilla Firefox much faster by using WinGet. So, in order to install Firefox, we're going to type WinGet, and since I don't know what name Mozilla Firefox has inside the get repository, we need to first get that information. And we can do that a myriad of different ways while we're doing everything in shell or command line. So we're going to type winget, search, and then Firefox, and press enter. What this is going to do is WinGet's going to go out there and search for any packages or applications that contain the word Firefox in them. And then we get to find out what we're looking for is this ID. That's what it makes it. This is what is important for us in order to be able to install Mozilla Firefox. There's a bunch of stuff in here. What I'm looking for is this regular installation of Mozilla Firefox. So, and the source is not MS Store, it's WinGet. This is what we want. So, I can copy this by selecting it and right-clicking on it, and now that's in my clipboard, or I can just type it out. But if we want to install Mozilla Firefox, all we have to do is type winget, install, and either right-click and paste or type it out and press enter. Mozilla.firefox. And now we wait. But as you see, we get a little warning saying that the application is not a Microsoft application, so Microsoft doesn't support it. But that's just the way it goes, folks. I mean, Mozilla supports their applications, and Microsoft supports Edge. So that's all that really means. Doesn't mean there's anything wrong with the application. And it downloads Mozilla Firefox, verifies the installer, shows you the size of the file downloaded, and then it starts to install. So with this one line, we've skipped like 6 or 7 steps already that we would have to utilize in order to do this the traditional way of clicking, opening browsers, and so forth. Most of the time, this stuff gets used if or rather, this command is useful to you every day. And I'll show you some other neat things about it. But if you're, for example, tasked with setting up like multiple machines, and you didn't have an imaging solution, so you got 5 laptops, and you're trying to set them all up with the same software and trying to get it done as fast as possible. When you're setting up the first laptop, literally you would just use 5 or 6 of these commands, which are all the same: winget, install, and the package name, and walk away, because that software would then be installed for you automatically. There is nothing else that you have to do as long as you have the string here correct. And we can install more than one application in a row, but that is a little bit more advanced, and I will go over that towards the end of the video. Right now we're just dealing with one application. This virtual machine is really slow, low on resources. Normally this, on a regular machine, this takes maybe 20 seconds. For some reason it's taking a little while here. Again, because it's just a slow machine. And it's successfully installed. So you may see now that it's actually located at the bottom of my taskbar. We see Firefox there that we didn't have before. And here's Firefox and all the stuff that comes with it. Easy? I think so. So I don't know what you guys think. Let me know in the comments. Alright, so you say, okay, well, how do I install something else? Well, what else do you want to install? Let's try another application. So an application that I use that's kind of like Snagit, if you're familiar with Snagit, but an application that's also like the snipping tool in Windows, but much nicer. It's a application that I use for taking screenshots, various screens and so forth, for various reasons. But like, in this case, I'd want to take a screenshot of this window here and email it to somebody to show them how to use WinGet. I use an application that's open source, excuse me, and it's called GreenShot. So in order to install GreenShot, same thing. WinGet, install, GreenShot, enter. Now, I did this on purpose. So before we search for Firefox, because we did not know the ID of the package that we want to install, this here. There's more than one GreenShot out there. So when we write this, or we type out this command saying winget, install application called GreenShot for me, or package called GreenShot, WinGet comes back and says, look, I have 2 GreenShots in my repository. Which one do you want? So in this case, we don't want the Microsoft Store source. We want the WinGet source. So we just select this and right click to copy it into our clipboard. We can press up on our keyboard to bring up the last command that we typed. We can delete this and just right click on the screen to paste that greenshot string that we just copied, and then press enter. Now that we have the correct package name, there's nothing else that we have to do. Again, we get a warning from Microsoft. The package downloaded, package is already installing. As you see, it's going very fast. And we can actually get rid of this setup pop-up screen if we wanted to. I don't mind it being there, but that's kind of what that interactivity and verbose commands are up here. I actually like seeing this happen in real time when I'm running these commands because it just kind of gives me an idea of where at in the process this installation is. But essentially, like, this is it. I mean, we type one command once we know the name of the package, and we enter it into PowerShell. We press enter, and we can just sit back and drink our coffee. Pretty neat, right? And our application is installed. Screenshots in here. What else can we do? Another cool utility is a in this. Actually, you know what? We won't cover this in this video because it kind of takes away from doing everything in Shell. I will create a separate video for that utility. Now, there's tons of different things that are available in this repository from Microsoft. So, for example, if we don't know, obviously we don't know like the ID of a piece of software, and we want to look for it and see what that ID is. We've already done it, but let's just say we want to install. Let me think. Photoshop. So we type WinGet search Photoshop and see if there's anything out there that in the repository with the name Photoshop. And what do you know? There's 3 Microsoft Store applications and then one really strange China WinGet entry in the repository, so we probably wouldn't do that. And normally, yeah, like with paid packages, this is not a good idea. But with applications that are open source or Microsoft applications, not a problem. So let's try doing this. WinGet search terminals. Terminals is an alternative application for running multiple virtual desktops. So there's only one terminals. Again, same process. Copy this, press up, delete, paste our ID, press enter. Oh, except we also want to change this to install instead of search. And walk away. It's done. Downloads, verifies, launches, installs, completes the install, and gets rid of the installation. Done. So, we just installed terminals. Click on our start menu. Terminals is here. It's the exact piece of software I wanted to get. That's kind of the gist, the basics of WinGet and how to use it. You don't need a special license for this. You just need to have Microsoft Windows 10 or 11, PowerShell. There's obviously also components of Microsoft components that we can update or install by using this utility. So, for example, if we wanted to use right now, this is PowerShell 7. I believe the command is get version, or is it get PS version? I don't remember. Yeah, I'm not gonna do that. So, because we're not covering really PowerShell in this video either. But yeah, so this is PowerShell 6. PowerShell 7's been out. So if we wanted to upgrade or install a different PowerShell or the newest update for PowerShell, we can also do WinGet search PowerShell, just like we did with Photoshop or terminals. All right, and we get a list of different PowerShell entries that are in the WinRM repository. If we wanted to install PowerShell version 7, we would use this line here, and we would use this ID. So let's go ahead and do that. And this time I'm not going to copy it. We'll just type it out. So WinGet install Microsoft PowerShell. And this will always install the latest version of PowerShell, which in this case is 7.3.6.0. Pressing enter. Same deal as, the previous attempts here. Slightly larger application, 100 megs, but no big deal. Downloads, starts to install. Verify, starts to install. Now, the interesting thing about PowerShell 7, we're going to actually end up with PowerShell 6 and 7 running on the same machine. I'm not sure why Microsoft did it this way, but you have access to both at that point. And I'll show you exactly what that looks like here in just a moment when the installation is completed. Okay, install is done. We click on our start menu. What do you know? We have our new PowerShell. You can actually even see that the icon is a different color. All right, right click on this guy and press run as administrator. And even the background is black. They've done quite a bit to differentiate this from 6 and 7. So if we close our 6 PowerShell 6 and we'll reopen it just to compare here, press yes. Obviously the different colors, right? But PowerShell 7 tells you right away that it's PowerShell 7, it's black, and so forth. But you can't use them both at the same time. You can run the same commands, though there are some more modules, etc., and things you can do with PowerShell 7. You'll have to see what Microsoft has to say about that because I don't know off the top of my head. But we can do WinGet just in here just the same. So WinGet. And the cool thing about 7 is it remembers your commands that you've used recently. So I just used this command, and just because I started typing WinGet, it kind of ghosts the string that I put in last time, and and kind of fills out the rest of this for me. So if I press the right arrow key, all that gray becomes an actual, I don't have to write that out. At this point, I can just press enter. But we're going to press escape, which clears this out. What if we do WinGet search PowerShell? Same thing, press right. Let's search for PowerShell again. Cool. So pulled up the same stuff that we saw in PowerShell 6 in here. And let's see if there's anything else that we can use here. Also, one of the things, you can install Microsoft Store apps as well. So in this case, PowerShell Preview, which is, I believe, preview for version 7. This was released obviously before 7 came out for everybody. But let's try installing the preview with this ID here. So same command, WinGet install, and then we're going to type this ID here. As you notice, WinGet has more, understandable names, where IDs, alphanumeric IDs is what the Microsoft Store uses. But let's try it and see what happens. Pressing enter. Because it's going to the Microsoft Store. So I'm glad I did this. You can still use WinGet to install Microsoft Store applications, but you do get one extra question here. So you have to either agree to the terms or you don't agree. Press yes, or type yes and press enter, because we do agree with the terms. And same deal, start a package install. So we wait just a little short while, and then we should have another version of PowerShell installed on our Windows 10 box here. But it's for science, right? Normally, I guess you probably wouldn't do this, on your work machine or whatever. You probably don't have a need for running, 5 different versions of PowerShell. However, I do. I run 7 and 6 because there are some compatibility issues with 7 that I've run into where 6 was still needed. And yeah. I did notice that when you install a Microsoft Store app, it takes a little bit longer because the package is located in a little bit different location, I guess. But again, WinGet works just fine with a ID from the store, as it does with its own repository. But ideally, you would be using that word from
from the list there, that WinRM uses like Microsoft.PowerShell, as opposed to like an alphanumeric key that we had to put in there. I don't know if you noticed the pop-up that we got, but PowerShell Preview just got installed. So now we have a third version of PowerShell, and in this case, it's not 7, it's 7 Preview. Anyways, so yeah, these are the basics. Let's do this. Let's uninstall PowerShell Preview, the preview version we just installed with WinGet, because you can do that as well. Again, if you want to figure out what the commands are for WinGet, you just press WinGet. I'm sorry, type out WinGet and press Enter, and you get all the commands that are available with WinGet. The following commands are available. So instead of using install this time, we're going to use WinGet uninstall, and we're going to right click and paste that ID for the PowerShell preview that we just installed. Press Enter. It found the package, it found it installed, and that fast, it's gone. It closed it out for us. It's not going to exist in here anymore. That's it. Um, you know, Greenshot. We installed Greenshot earlier. This is Greenshot. It's a great utility. Well, we can do the same here. So we do WinGet, uninstall, Greenshot, Greenshot. And press OK. Oh, it's saying that we got to close Greenshot. So press exit, press OK. Greenshot's gone. There are some switches that we can enable to, automatically force it to uninstall, but we're not going to get into that in this video. It's already getting kind of long. We're over 20 minutes already, so. Anyways, there's a lot more to this, a lot more. But for the everyday user, the install, uninstall, and search are the 3 commands that I highly recommend you familiarize yourself with. There's a ton of information out there, other videos that are great. Lots of stuff you can find on Google, blog posts, and so forth that cover this. But to me, these are the things that I normally use. We'll get into some more advanced features in the next video. All right, folks. Thank you for coming back, watching the video. Please, 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 like if you like the content. That will, motivate me to create more content. Subscribe if you'd like to see, or get notified if I, release another video, which I will be. And leave a comment in the comment section. Let me know, if I'm doing a bang up job or I'm not doing a good job at all. I'd like to know either way. Anyway, thanks everyone. Thanks for taking a look at this video, and I shall see you later. Bye bye.